Well, my name is Casey Joy, and knowing that Mike has been talking about manifestation this year, I was meeting with my priestess mentor a few months ago, and she said, Casey Joy, you are a speaker. And I was like, okay, Sarah, I don't know that I'm ready to speak on a stage with thousands of people. So my mind just went there. And less than a week later, Mike and I ran into each other, and he said, Casey Joy, I really want to talk to you about speaking at Unity. I was like, okay, you must have had a divine message. He's like, I sure did. So here I am. It is an honor, a gift to be here. And so I've been asking God, what do you want me to talk about? What should I share? And I just keep hearing over and over, the thing that you are here to speak on, the thing that you're here to teach, the thing that you hold people in is the remembrance that their life is sacred. And I do this because I too had to go through the journey of remembering that my life is sacred. And it was a hard journey. It's a very hard journey. And one that I feel proud of, one I feel happy for, because some of us go through this world and we don't get by without a lot of pain and suffering. And so a few years ago, I was a kids pastor, and overnight I was no longer a kids pastor. For who I am, for my identity as a woman. And I went through this reckoning of, if I can't teach kids that forever they are unconditionally loved, that they don't have to walk through this world in shame, they don't have to beg and plead and be punished over and over to exist, how can I mother my children? And it was a deep, personal, internal reckoning and spiritual awakening that I had to go through. And I remember just begging and pleading with not knowing what I was talking to anymore. Like, is God real? Have I gone through my whole life not understanding divine presence, divine energy, God? And there was this moment where something so loud within me said, I am right here. I am in you. And it's not about going to the churches, and it's not about going to the temples, and they're great and they're beautiful. And yet we can meet God there in those spaces. And yet also it's about realizing that God is within me, within you, within us, within the trees, within the flowers, within the fibers of the wood of this building, the carpet. And when, wow, God's in me, there, like, something huge shifted to where then I could believe that I could walk this life and live this life. And so over the years, as I learned, oh wow, God exists within me, I could start coming alive again and coming back to the belief and the understanding of who or what God is. And in that, realizing that if God is within me and God is sacred, if the creator of all is sacred, is within me, then I too must be sacred. And so if the creator of all, divine energy, is in you, then you are sacred. And so I'm like, okay, I know this, but can you give me a little tangible checklist of, like, how do I actually teach people that their life is sacred? How do I go about that? And one of the first things that I hold people in goes based off from some research around epigenetics. And at the moment of conception, our soul knows whether we are wanted or unwanted. And there's this moment of realizing, like, okay, great. My soul knew whether I was wanted or unwanted, but because of this beautiful gift of meditation or being able to journey a little bit backwards or even forward into our lives, I realized, like, I could go back and go back to the moment of conception and choose to want myself. And so then holding another person in somatic therapy, walking them through how to go back to the moment of conception to want themselves. I'm not suggesting it's always easy to do. And I believe that in choosing, it's just a form of remembering. Because before our soul came in, when the sperm met the egg, our soul actually agreed to come to earth to be a human being. And so in some way, we actually did want our lives. And so when we can remember that we chose to come here and we wanted this life, when we can walk through life wanting ourselves, a whole lot can shift. So choosing or remembering that you want you. And, it's like thinking of once the baby is born, when the baby takes their first breath, that is a sacred moment. We can be in awe of that baby. We can want to protect it and hold it and nourish it and cuddle it. And some of us got that when we were born, and some of us didn't. But we all have our infant self within us. How do you be in awe of the sweet little baby within you? How do you be in awe of yourself? And maybe it goes back to the beginning. The second part is around belonging. And we can grow up, we can go to school, we can go to work, we can come to church. We can leave and feel like, I didn't belong. I didn't fit in. That was real awkward, just like not connecting with anyone. And probably one of the best things I received from God was like, Casey, you get to belong to you. You get to belong to you. You get to belong in this life. And so in doing that, just like go out, stand in the grass and belong there because I am there. And I can belong here because I am here. And in the choosing to belong is just an act of remembrance. It's remembering that we belong. And if God is within us, then we belong to something bigger than ourselves, to something greater than ourselves. And to remember actually just is taking all the little splattered, forgotten pieces and pulling them right back into wholeness, pulling them right back into our being. Sacred just means something that is considered holy, worthy of deep respect, referring to anything highly valued or important. Sacred can describe your life. And so if you are something that could be considered holy, you are something sacred that has a connection to divine. And if God is within you, if divine energy is within you, then you are holy and you are sacred. And it's the remembering of this that allows us to come to life, to stand in our power, to remember the light, to let it shine out into the world. And so choosing or remembering that we want us, choosing to want yourself, choosing to remember that you want this life, choosing to belong or remembering that you belong, and choosing and remembering that you are worthy. You are worthy of living this life. You are worthy of being wanted and belonging because you have breath in your lungs and your heart is beating and love flows through you. Mm-hmm. Worthy means having or showing the qualities or abilities that merit recognition in a specific way. And so often when a baby is born, there might be a baby announcement. They merit recognition in the way of having a baby announcement. Might want to pay attention to that one. And so if you were once a baby and babies are worthy and babies merit recognition, how can you recognize your life? How can you trust that your life is worthy? That you are a sacred being? In the Gospel of Mary, it suggests that God is not external, but resides within each and every one of us individually. And by seeking wisdom within and recognizing the divine spark that connects us to a greater whole, we as individuals can embrace our inherent worth and potential for growth. This process of inner awakening and transformation can be seen as a journey towards realizing and embracing the sacredness within oneself. According to the Gospel of Mary, a sacred text I didn't read years ago when I had my inner awakening, when I finally realized this divine energy, this God, is within me. And I don't have to keep looking externally to meet God. It's an individual inward experience, but the Gospel of Mary already let us know that, but it was removed. And so it takes a lot of us a long time to realize the truth that we are sacred individuals and we can embrace the sacredness within ourselves. The Gospel of Mary also promotes the idea that true sacredness isn't found in the external rituals or doctrines, but in the internal experience of realizing one's divine nature and potential through seeking inner knowledge and undergoing spiritual transformation. And so it isn't you here sitting in this chair listening to me speak that is reminding you that you are sacred. It's the knowing within you, the spark within you, your own internal remembering. You can hear the words, but still it's your internal experience for you to realize your divine nature. So remembering that our lives are sacred allows us to see the miracles that it took place to exist in the first place. When you go back to the moment of conception, and then came you. You had to grow inside of a womb miraculously, and then enter this world. And everything that transpired, everything that took place for you to be here today in this chair, in this room, in this building, in Grand Rapids, Michigan, or on live stream, and it's 11:11, is a miracle. Every moment that it took for you to be here is a miracle. You are a miracle. You are sacred. And I do believe that in remembering this, we find our light. We find connection with others. We begin to share our light just by existing. And even if the flame is just so tiny, you can keep breathing breath into your light. And eventually it will radiate and others will notice. And in your light is your love. And you share that with the world. So beginning to ask yourself, how might you walk through this life differently when you live out the remembering that your one and precious life is sacred, that you are here on purpose. You are here on purpose and you are sacred. And it does not dismiss the pain and the suffering that has happened to get you here. It can be true that pain and suffering has existed in your life, and it is a miracle that you are here. I know it's true for me. I know it's true that I went through a lot of pain and suffering, and it's a miracle that I'm here. Sometimes I had to look really hard for the miracle. And then I had to remember that when I was a little girl and I climbed out on my rooftop, and I would stare at the stars and the moon, say, God, did you forget about me? That all along, God was within. And so the voice that I heard within, the stirring that I heard within, was just speaking back to me. The stars seemed like they were talking to me when I was little. And yet it was the still small voice within. And then Casey got to grow up and become a Casey Joy. So my hope, my prayer for you in this is for you to remember what you once forgot and to grab the truth that you are wanted. Your light shines bright. You belong because you are here. You exist. And you belong to the divine energy within you. and the divine energy within you belongs to you. It is yours. No one can ever take that away from you. No one can ever tell you that you're not worthy of this sweet, beautiful connection to you. And you are worthy. And so as you remember that your life is sacred, as you remember and go through the continuous transformation within you, my hope and prayer is that as you walk this life, your light gets brighter and it can be reflected back to you. That you remember who you are, that you remember why you came here, and you remember that your life is sacred and no one can take that away from you.